beautiful Amazon Prime Day, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to take a look at this transfer pump that I was sent in exchange for doing a review of their product. I have not done any video reviews on anything in the past because it wasn't something that I felt like I could use or that would help me or any of the viewers. This, I really felt like when I asked for it to come in, after they reached out, that I'd be able to use it every day. After looking at the manual and after looking at some of the other specs and what it actually says in here, I'm not so sure, but we're gonna find out if it'd be good for you or I in a shop environment. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy the content. I just took this out of the box yesterday and I went ahead and charged up the battery on it. Just one of them. Charged it overnight. It's got full charge. See what the other one came with. When it came in, it looked like it only had, 3 out of 4, which isn't bad considering it seems like every other thing that I get in as far as electrical goes has absolutely no charge to it whatsoever. Comes with a few transfer hoses here. This thing boasts some pretty good specs until you look at some of the finer details. I'll go over that in a minute. It's got a charger that just plugs in. Plugs in here in order to charge it. It says it's 21 volts and it's 4 amp hour batteries. They seem kind of light for a 4 amp hour battery, honestly, but that's besides the point. Comes with some gloves, not sure why, just regular cloth gloves. Got a fuel nozzle here. Now it's red like you would use it for gasoline, right? It was marketed that way to me when I was sent this offer. As I look in the book though, so this is a Seesii oil change pump extractor. As you read through the manual here, it does say very clearly, right at the very beginning, not intended for use with gasoline or alcohol. That's not what it was marketed as. They do not go and say that on their listing, that you can use it for gas. But the person who sent this to me to do this review video did mention gasoline specifically that it was okay for. I'm gonna test it out. Most of the gas we're gonna be transferring is not gonna be good gas anyway. It's gonna be bad fuel or something of inferior quality that's not gonna be as flammable as regular gas anyway. As I'm looking at this, it does show that it is a plastic impeller that it's got in it. So I think the risk of actually catching a fire or anything like that is going to be extremely low. They probably don't rate it for that since it's an insurance issue, if I had to guess. There's instructions on how to put this together, how to set everything up. I'll show you how to do that real quick, and then we're going to test it. One very important thing to mention here is that it does say 12 gallons a minute, but it does say that after 20 minutes that you need to let it rest. It's a 20-minute duty cycle. It does say in the listing that it's a 30-minute duty cycle. So the specs are all over the place. That's one thing I don't like about these Chinese things, is that nobody really knows, right? You make up your own specs, you kind of guess exactly what's going on. Let's open this other box here, see what we have. Here is the actual pump itself. It feels kind of hefty. I mean, it feels like a good quality pump. It feels like it's nice and stout. The battery slides just straight onto the back as you're going to use it. Seems like it clips in well, but I'm not so sure. Feels like a decent quality. Not so sure that that back mounting is going to hold up over time though. It seems kind of crudely done with the wiring going through the side and then here to this charging station. But the pump itself seems like it should be a good pump. It says it's self-priming, but it actually has a primer button on it. Another one of those things where it's like, somebody didn't really think this through when they were making a listing or doing the instructions for it. But who knows? Maybe the instructions are the same for a wide variety of things. It's hard telling. Dump all this out and see exactly what we have as far as what came with it. So these look like they're little, maybe those are little impeller pieces for replacement. They send They've got instructions in here on how to replace the impeller internally. Yes, it does look like those are impeller pieces. So those can be replaced, and it does include a replacement set. It mentions in here after 500 hours, get it professionally serviced. Well, good luck finding somebody to professionally service this unless you're the professional that's going to service it. There's just a couple hex screws on the front where this would come out, and you can replace the impeller vanes as they get worn. So this plastic will wear down. But that's what makes it something that, in my mind, should be suitable for fuel. I'm not telling you specifically to use it for fuel, but that's what we're going to test it on today. And we're also going to test it on oil because it does say it can empty a barrel of oil in 8 minutes. It also tells you in here, don't use it for things like oil. So one of those things where it's kind of all over the place as far as what it's telling you. I'm going to put some hose clamps on this. This is a filter for the bottom for where you drop it in. And that's going to go on our inlet side, of course. If you don't get that all the way tight, you'll probably lose suction. Well, it's one of the first things. It looks like the adhesive is starting to come off already from the inlet. Not a great thing for it to happen. It does have O-rings here that will seal to this tapered area, but it also comes with pipe thread. If your O-ring sealing at the tapered area, there should be no reason for pipe thread. You don't need both. Just like a compression fitting, you're not going to need Teflon tape if you've got the compression fitting to seal. Seals against there very well. I can see where if we're using this for fuel, where that O-ring could go bad over time, of course. Make sure that's plenty tight, but don't over tighten it. That's on both sides. It does seem like that O-ring fits in there very well and kind of smashes down on there like it should. So I like that about it. I'm going to put this on the inlet side along with the hose clamp. This hose does not feel, I'd say it feels a little bit spongy for use with fuel. Tighten that down. Do the other side here. Same way. And then over here, we want to put the hose clamp, and then this is going to go in there and tighten down, but you want to put that on your nozzle first. And again, it's tapered down there where the O-ring seats. So that's a good design, that's what you want. You can use that pipe thread also if you'd like. That would give you kind of another area to seal to, but again, the O-ring should seal exactly how we're wanting it to. Again, we've got the battery with 4 bars. We're going to throw this thing in some gas and see what happens. If you're anything like me with your small engine repair, you end up with a lot of less than quality fuel. I don't know what you guys do with it. We have a guy that kind of pulls all the good stuff off the top and kind of re-refines it as best he can and runs it through his vehicle. Does it all the time. He takes a ton of it from us. The rest of the stuff that can't be reused, we send it out to Safety Clean to be recycled. I've got a can of this such fuel right here. again, as it notes in here, it is strictly prohibited to pump flammable liquids such as water, gasoline, alcohol, etc. with this oil pump. It also says that it's not okay in here to pump oil, although it does say on the listing that it can pump a barrel of oil, and says machine oil, in 8 minutes. So I'm not really sure what to think of this as far as the manual goes. Let's try it on some fuel, see what happens. I'm gonna put my glasses on here. I don't wanna put anything in my eyes. Again, it's only gonna pull until it's about a little bit over 1 inch off the bottom, which is less than ideal, for sure. Seems like as soon as I'm putting this in here, it's wanting to curl up on me pretty good. Throw that on the bottom, throw this in here, turn this pump on. Pretty loud, kind of scary at first. I mean, it's got a good flow going though, that's for sure. It is very quick. But again, this is just on gasoline, which it's not even supposed to do. It's supposed to do kerosene and different things like that. We're down to about 2 inches and it looks like we're about to be sucking air. There we go, sucking some air. I'd say it actually did a pretty darn good job of emptying that within a little bit of no time. I don't know what the time lapse was on that, but there is quite a bit still left in the hose. I thought the hose was kind of curling up, but it actually feels fine. That's the way the rest of it feels. It just feels kind of floppy all the way around as we're doing it. It worked well, didn't light anything on fire. Again, use at your own risk if you're going to use it for fuel, but I think that's what I'll be using it for. It worked great in this instance, and it's going to work great when I'm transferring fuel to different containers or when the guy comes to pick it up. You know, we can pump it in extremely easy now as opposed to before it took forever for him to do that. It'll come in handy with that. Let's try it on the oil now and see how long that takes to pump a 55-gallon drum. I mentioned this thing was pretty heavy a minute ago. I just went and weighed it. It's a little over 14 pounds, about 14 and a half pounds for the whole setup. That's with a little fluid in it, but I got most of the fluid out just by lifting it up and opening the fuel valve. This is a 55-gallon drum of oil. It's filled all the way to the top right here. This is used engine oil. It's wanting to pump right over the top, so it's a full 55 gallons. See how long this takes to pump it all out. Looks like we're in the bottom now. On here. Doesn't exactly sound like the pump likes that for sure, but it's sure pumping at a good clip. Seems like it's slowed down by now. say the first time it fills all the way up, you're supposed to turn in this screw to adjust it for when it stops. There is no screw on this one, so it's just going to keep trying to pump, no matter the situation. 55 gallons that quick. Not sure how long that was. Take a look at that here in just a second, but that was pretty quick, I'd say, for 55 gallons of oil. The pump, it's definitely warm. It's not hot, but in that little amount of time, honestly kind of impressed that it only took right about 10 minutes to pump all that oil out. You could see that there was a full volume coming out of the nozzle for a very long time, and then it seemed to slow down to almost half also. If you look at the inlet here, it's pulled all kinds of debris from that used oil all through it and kind of clogged it up, and I think that's probably why we weren't getting a good flow from it. It's pretty dirty on the outside. That's going to block your flow pretty good. Again, there's a few different things with this as far as quality that I didn't like. Missing parts, broken fuel inlet straight off the top. Overall, if I would have known something like this existed a year or two ago, I would have bought one, no problem, with the price that they are, because I can transfer that fuel so much quicker. Otherwise, we resort to dumping back and forth into different containers and stuff so my guy can haul it out of here and get it taken care of. This thing is going to make it a lot quicker, and it's going to save me a lot of time, but again, at my own risk, pumping water, gasoline, or alcohol through this thing. The instructions aren't very clear. What you can use it for isn't very clear. The quality, will it hold up? I'm not really sure. But is it worth a little bit of money that I would have spent on it to get it? Obviously this didn't cost me anything here, but I probably would have bought one. If you're using or transferring as much fuel as what I do, it's worth the buy for sure. If you're not, if you're just a small guy that's going through 15 or 20 gallons a year, dump it yourself. Don't worry about getting one of these. Hopefully this helps somebody out. If you like this product, you can find the description below along with a coupon code to go with it that they've sent over that's good for about the next month and a half, I think. And go ahead and purchase that today. And it does look like they're on discount because of Prime Day savings. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you enjoy the content.